One of the first things I saw when I was born was my dog
Oh
Leo.
no, you can't.
He's a golden
You
retriever.
can't do this. I love my dog so much. I already have to go get my dog right now. Look at her. What's up, guys? I am Bijuu. Today we are going to do something really interesting. We are going to react to Storybooth Animations. Now, if you've never, I just literally found out about this today. I had no idea that this even existed, but I think it's so freaking cool. So, what is Storybooth Animations? This is not sponsored, although I am promoting their channel. It's not sponsored. I'm not getting paid to say this. So get this, guys. So you right now, you can record a story, basically, with your own voice. It's your voice. And then you submit it to them, and they animate it. That's amazing. No wonder why they have freaking 1.6 million subscribers with only like 100-something videos. That's amazing. I thought this idea and concept was just so freaking fascinating because one of the things that I really love doing is talking to you guys about, like, you know, problems. I get so many emails, so many comments, so many DMs, like all kinds of messages. And you guys tell me about all these problems that you're having at home, and I feel so bad for you guys. And like, I would like to be able to talk more about those kinds of things. So like the kind of animations that they do could be about like really heavy topics, about like parents. This one's called I wish I never started cutting myself. We'll probably react to that one, but man. So I just thought this would be a really cool opportunity to talk about those kind of subjects and just, you know, maybe relate to you guys and talk about my own experiences with some of this stuff. Guys, make sure you're hitting that subscribe button, okay? Because they gave me permission to react to their videos and things like that, so I thought it was really awesome. Now, I found out about Storybooth through Messed Yourself, the YouTuber Messed Yourself, so I'm just letting you know that I got the idea from him, okay? Awesome YouTuber, by the way. You guys may remember the video that I did called A Yandere Girl Stopped Me at Hot Topic. It's very similar to what we're about to watch, except it's fully animated. This one just has some like slides in there. I really enjoyed making that video, and I would love to make more videos like that. You guys seem to really enjoy it. So anyway, without further ado, let's get it started. I think you guys are really gonna like this. I know I can really get into this stuff and just to talk about it. So I wish I never started cutting myself. Okay.
When I was in my second year of high school and the stresses that were put on me to succeed and get certain grades in all my classes kind of got to me. I was never a great student. I was never good at tests. I was a C student at best. When I cut myself for the first time, I kind of thought, hey, this works. I don't feel awful anymore. And I didn't realize how hard it would be to keep them covered all the time.
Dang, I mean, it just goes right through there so fast. Like, there's so much to talk about, you know? You know, I can already see people in the comment section making a joke about Yuri or something like that, but I'm not gonna do that, obviously. I actually have known a few people that have done this, like, in real life. I've had a friend personally who was doing it for a really short amount of time, and, I had a girlfriend that did that. It was actually my first girlfriend. I'm not gonna like tell any names or anything, obviously, for obvious reasons, but I mean, I never really understood the reason why. I mean, I guess it'll probably kind of explains it here. She already kind of explained it, but it just goes to show that, like, you know, kids, you know, you can really feel pressured by school, and maybe you do right now. You're watching this, you feel really pressured by school, okay? I mean, you know, when you're this young, this is what's going for you. So of course, like, you know, you feel pressured. It could be by your parents or anything like that. It's just, I know a lot of people say that they just kind of want to feel something, you know, I think there's a few different reasons why people do it, but it's horrible. And I urge you, if you're doing it now, to please don't, because, you know, it's not the answer. It really isn't. Start off in the beginning to say that, like, you know, I wish I would have not done it. So obviously they know now. But it's interesting because it's always easy to look back, you know, and tell yourself to do something. I know that it's like, I think everyone can relate to that.
Self-harm is an addiction. Once you start, it's nearly impossible to stop. It's been almost 10 years since I've started, and it's still happening. If something goes wrong at work, or if I fail a test, cutting myself is the very first thing that comes to mind. A few years ago, my parents found out what I was doing, and my mom yelled at me saying that she didn't bring me into this world for me to cut myself up. Hearing that kind of made me face myself and realize, like, what I was doing is not only harmful for me, but harmful for everyone around me. You know what? I'm doing my best to get better and stop. It's just difficult when the smallest thing can land you right back into that headspace.
You know, it doesn't really matter what it is you're doing. Like, the thing about addictions is that it literally can be anything. So whether that's like something that's proactive or something that's really negative, like, you know, some, you know, chewing gum, or, you know, I mean, I'm just kind of relating that to smoking, especially because a lot of people smoke because if they have problems in their life, you know, I would say it's very similar. You know, addiction, and addiction is an addiction, you know, either way you look at it. So if you know, if things start happening in your life and you feel like you really need to get the stress out and just really get the load off, as I guess they say, you just really have to find an alternative way to you know, get the steam off, because like the truth is everyone has to have some kind of coping mechanism for life, because there's always going to be hard problems. And unfortunately, you know, she used, you know, cutting as a way, and, you know, I can understand as a parent, like, how it'd be so scary. Like, I can only imagine seeing my child do that. But I totally understand where she's coming from, too, because of the fact that, like, you know, she was put under a lot of pressure to do good in school, and, you know, that's probably not something that she was really passionate about, maybe? I didn't like school at all, you know. I really didn't like it that much when I was there. There was like 2 or 3 classes I really enjoyed, and the rest I just didn't really care about, and to be honest, I didn't even need them. And so, you know, as a teenager, school is everything, so it's totally understandable how this could happen.
I may not be able to fully fix myself right now, but I'm trying, and I want to at least help those around me who are suffering. If you are ever thinking or considering doing self-harm, please don't. It's a slippery, dangerous slope that you do not want to go down. Please talk to someone, talk to a loved one, get help. Just don't start.
We all have things that we're struggling with, and we want to tell you about a way you can get help. Our sponsor, BetterHelp, connects you with a professional therapist that you can chat with whenever you're in need.
Not sponsored. This is not sponsored, okay? Just letting you know. But yeah, definitely get help, because you know what? It doesn't matter what the addiction is, like I said. It's just because that's the first one you started. Whatever vehicle or outlet you chose to do, that's how it starts an addiction, you know, because some people choose alcohol, some people choose drugs, some people choose smoking, you know, there could be everything. But the truth is, you can fill that void that you need in your life is something that is proactive and something that can benefit you. You know, most people, it's just video games. Like, I love playing video games to really let off steam. You know, for me lately, it's been Fortnite, and sometimes it actually makes me worse. But another thing I just like doing is just simply going for a walk and listening to positive things. And I feel like making a habit of doing those kinds of things has helped me so tremendously, because, you know, I always have someone in my ears telling me, you know, even if it's on a phone, even if it's just not real life, but it's so helpful to have these inspirational people tell me that, you know, it does get better. You know, I came from crap too, and it is possible for things to get better. And I want to let you guys know that too. It's so possible for things to get better, okay? Things, you look around you, it may seem like things are just falling apart, but let me tell you, just keep going. Keep going, okay? And if you're struggling with this kind of stuff, yeah, they give such great advice, you know? First of all, the best advice is just to not start it, okay? Because then you won't turn to it later on. Because I feel like once you start it and stop it, you know, you always have it in the back of your head, okay? So I totally get it. You know, it's not about where you begin or what you've done, you know. Just because this girl is cut herself, you know, doesn't make her any less special than anyone. And I totally respect her for doing this video. It's a real problem that real people have, and even though I don't you know, do it myself, or I've never done it, I've known people that it's affected, and you get to see all the support in the comments. This is why I love these things. It's so cool. It's just cool to see all the support. I love it. Now we should pick one to start off with, huh? Well, I feel like I should also mention, you don't have to be a kid to do this. They actually have YouTubers. YouTubers have done videos on these too, guys. Matthew Santoro, I think Bijuu has one too. There's a few people that have these, so don't get me wrong, it's not just kids that have these stories. It's a variety of things. But I love the idea of this channel. I think it was so cool. It's a great way to get people, like the view count. They deserve all these views. It's so cool. Okay, well, let's get sadder, okay? Losing a pet, the story of my dog Leo. Oh my god. Oh, I do not want to look at this, but I am. This is something I can really relate to.
One of the first things I saw when I was born was my dog
Oh
Leo.
no, you can't.
He's a golden retriever.
You can't do this. I love my dog so much. I already have to go get my dog right now. Okay, so Didi, my dog Didi wouldn't come in there, so she's here on the couch. Oh my god, you guys don't even know. All right, I know this is gonna be a really sad story already, and this dog is seriously like the love of my life. Look at her. We don't deserve animals. We do not deserve such beautiful creatures. All right.
And He had like long hair and all saggy.
Golden
He was really
retrievers.
adorable. And from like the first moment I really ever saw him in my life, I was just connected to him. We did everything together. We played catch, we rolled in mud, we'd make forts and sit in them all day and watch movies together, and we'd go camping with my dad. He was always with me and followed me everywhere I went. When Leo got older, he started getting sick and tired, and we couldn't play the way we used to anymore.
No. I hate sad stories. Why am I watching them?
That made me really upset, but I still loved him like I always had.
Of course you
One
did.
day,
The dogs, they
my
don't do
mom
nothing
let
wrong.
me stay home from school, and I just decided that, I'd be with him. We played ball, we played King Leo, we did all the things that I used to do with him.
King
and
Leo?
I just had a smile on my face when I was going to bed. And I was like really happy and thinking of like tomorrow to play with him. In the middle of the night, my mom woke me up. She had like tears, and she told me that Leo was dying in a vet. And I was like panicking. I was running around the room in circles. I asked if I could go say like goodbye to him, basically. But he was really far away, and my dad brought him. So when my dad finally got back, he broke the news. Leo was dead. And I was just really, really upset. I stopped crying for like 2 minutes and then hysterically start crying again. When I finally started falling asleep, I kept glancing at the spot he usually,
Oh, God. It's so sad. Oh my God. It's really getting to me. Why? Why is it getting to me? Oh my God. Okay, it's really getting to me. All right. Oh my God, I've literally never cried on a video. I mean, I'm not crying now. I'm just holding it back. Like, oh, I can relate to this so much. Oh my God, I have to take a break, guys. Holy crap. I mean, I can relate to this so much with my cat, Scarlet. You guys that have been, scrubs for a long time, you can totally, relate to that. I mean, I didn't even tell you guys really about it. I put her on Twitter when it happened, but she got, it was actually right before we went to Japan for the first time. We noticed that she kept kind of, you know what cats do with the hairballs? They kind of just like get on low on the ground and they start like coughing, making the weird noises and stuff like that. Well, she's always had like hairballs and stuff like that, so we just thought it was that. But then it kept happening and she wouldn't spit anything up. And so, we took her to the vet. Well, we actually left because, we didn't know the problem was that serious. So we left her with my friend, and we went to Japan, and then we came back, and we got home and we couldn't find her anywhere. We couldn't find Scarlet, and because we were kind of worried about her because we didn't know. We thought maybe we just had to get her fur ball medicine or something like that, and so we did that. And we got home and she wasn't nowhere to be found, and I searched everywhere. Then we actually checked under our bed, and she was under there. She was there, but she was just kind of staring. She looked really, really scared, and so we got her out. I actually just got under the bed and pulled her out, and she was like really, like her eyes were like really wide open, and she was breathing really hard, and I felt her stomach, and her stomach was really, really big. And we knew for sure that something was really up. And so I like rushed to the pet store to get her a cage because like we didn't even have a cage. And we took her over there and, we spent hours at the vet just waiting. And it turns out that I guess apparently cats, because she was pretty old. I had her since I was in 7th grade. I think I was in 7th grade. So that's how long we had her. We took her to the vet and they told us that cats, as they get older, they get this spine. I can't remember exactly what it was called, but something on their spine. They get it, and it caused them to like keep this fluid inside their lungs and stuff like that. And it turns out that was why it was so hard for her to breathe, because this fluid was filling up like her stomach and everything. And so they drained it. They took they took samples of the fluid that was in her, and then we took her home. She had a patch of fur missing, and it was really funny looking. But she seemed okay after they drained the fluid out of her. We took her home, and I spoiled her so much, and it really made me realize like how much we love her, or how much I cared for that cat. I'm just like kind of tearing up right now, just thinking about it. It was seriously one of the hardest things I've ever had to deal with, and And we weren't even supposed to keep that cat. My sister gave me that cat, or gave it to us because she had a baby and didn't want the cat around the baby for a little while, but we ended up keeping her. I shouldn't get too much into it, but we took her back and they said that basically that this happens to older cats and there's like nothing they could have done. You know, they could have performed all these surgeries on her and make her go through all this suffering and pain, and you know, it would have taken so much money, which it wasn't really about the money as much, but we just thought, you know, she shouldn't have to go through all that. She was really old and she didn't act like she was old, which is one of the hardest parts, but we had to put her to sleep because that was just the best option, because we thought maybe she'd be okay after draining the fluid, and it only took a day or two for her to get right back to that state. So it was extremely sad, and I cried my eyes out. I've never cried like that. I don't think I've ever cried that hard in my life. When I was there when they did it, and oh my god, it made me really cherish animals because they're just animals, you know. They make you feel so special, and she was always there, and she always begged to get in my room, and there's no point. How did I get into this? It's because of this story. I can really relate to it, okay? I totally get it, okay? But yeah, I didn't want to make a video about it because I know I'd get too emotional, and I'm already getting emotional now. But cherish your animals, okay? They're so sweet, and they really make you feel so special. You know, I know they're dependent on you, and a lot of people say they just want food, but no, she really made me feel special. And animals, like they fill the boring, like they make things not boring, you know, and so many special things. I love just staring at animals, especially my dog now that we got her from our shelter. It's just like, no matter what kind of problems, you know, happen, they're always happy. They're always happy. And that's one thing that I always want to take from animals, is that, like, you know, they don't worry about the problems that we worry about, but yet they still keep going. And I know that sounds stupid, but it's something I always thought and I loved about animals, and they're just so precious. I just love them so much. Okay, we'll continue. I haven't even got to the sad parts. Well, no, it's already sad, but you get it.
Just wasn't there.
Right, I'm sorry, I took such a tangent.
The next day I just kept crying. I didn't go to school. I was so upset. And when we were staring at the grave, I was just crying because, like, I'd never see him again. And it was just really hard because, like, the fact kept running through my head that he's not here anymore. I still miss him and walk in, sometimes forgetting that he's not alive anymore and expecting to see him. But I'm fine now, and he's basically still here in my heart. This is my new dog, Van, here. He just walked up. Say hi. He's like licking his lips. Hey, buddy.
Oh my god. I gotta go say, okay, I gotta go tell my dog I love her again. Okay, I'm okay. We're okay. It's just, I think what gets to me so much is that I know that these are real, you know, they're real stories. They're by real people, and that's something that's really powerful to me. And I cried so hard. There's nothing like stories from the actual person, you know. You can't beat it. I just don't know why, like, losing pets is so hard, you know. That's the only thing I hate about getting attached to them, is because it's so hard to lose them, because you know that you're gonna most likely outlive your pets, you know. I don't know why it has to be that way, but...
I was born into a rather poor family, but we managed to live in some sort of way. I had a rather rough childhood, though, with my dad working very hard to support me and my mom, meaning he wasn't often at home. My mom was therefore very protective of me, as her only child, but living as a sort of single mother really put a strain on her mind, which was made worse due to the lack of funds for medical treatment.
Yeah, guys, I always feel so bad because people, you know, a lot of people have dads and moms that are never home because they're working all the time, because that's all they can do, is to support their family. And it really is, like, sad because they don't get to be there. They don't get to be there for their kids' lives because they're always constantly working. I mean, my grandpa, I can't speak for my dad. I mean, it's kind of a sad story in itself with my parents, but, you know, I could speak like my grandpa. I remember, you know, he was always at work, and then he was home sleeping. And, you know, I feel like I've heard so many stories about people that have had parents that just worked so much. I'm so blessed and thankful for what I get to do right now because I get to be home. So if I ever, you know, when or if I do have kids, I can be home for them. That's why I want to keep doing what I'm doing now. It's something that I really love to do. And I'm so, like, thankful that I took the leap of faith to to make this work, and I still want to make this work. It's scary. It scares the crap out of me sometimes. I get really scared that things aren't gonna work out sometimes, but I'm just so that's why I let you guys know, and I tell you that I'm so thankful that you've allowed me to do this. If you're watching right now, you don't understand what you're doing for me. So, you know, I really hope to keep doing this for as long as I can. That way I don't have to be that dad that is always at work and things like that. It's not fair. It's not fair to the kids.
Therefore, I was reasonably happy for my childhood. And I was also able to do really well at school despite my situation, as I focused on my studies for most of the time. When I was around 13 years old, my dad got a big break and seemingly found a good and well-paying job as a delivery guy.
Okay, nice.
Things went really well for a little while, and we managed to afford the necessities and some luxuries here and there, which I was really happy with.
Got a car, nice.
Until when it turned out that my dad's boss was sort of a con man.
Oh no.
My dad ended up losing his car and most of his money to him, leaving us with very little hope.
Oh no.
We were left almost penniless as my dad went on to more laborious jobs with even less pay. The stress...
That's tough. That's really tough. To me, it's like, this is why you need to... You know, and I know that you can't change the past, so if like you're in this situation, obviously do the best you can, but right now, if you don't have kids, whether or not you have a girlfriend or not, this is the time right now to start doing something that you really want to do, okay? Because you don't want to get stuck in this rut of just trying to find a job, okay? But I have to take this. I really hope you guys take this advice. I don't care how old you are. You can do anything. Start thinking right now of something that you would like to do in the future. I don't care how crazy it is, alright? A lot of people say you have to be super realistic with your goals. Well, I mean, you only live one life. We're not just here playing a game. We're here living. So if you have something you want to do, start thinking about it right now, okay? Even if you have to make really small steps, okay? Such as just thinking about it. Write it down, whatever. Start at it right now, okay? And I'm telling you, it's gonna pay off, because when you have kids and you're working a job you don't like, you have a family to take care of. That's obligations, and it's scary. It's super scary. So you feel like you're forced to take any paying job that you'll get instead of doing the things you want to do. And then things like this happen, you know. My brother-in-law, he's been laid off of other jobs because, you know, he thought that he had a great job, which he did, but then they lay you off because it gets slow and things like that. And it's just so unfair. And I know that, you know, I really wish that they could do other things, because I know it's just so unfair to have these kinds of jobs. They're not real jobs. You don't like them, and they're not secure. I mean, don't get me wrong, YouTube is by no means secure whatsoever. It's a big risk that I'm taking, but you know, I don't regret it. I really don't regret doing what I'm doing, and I love you guys so much. I just thank you. I don't even know what else to say.
This led to a moment that changed my life forever. My mom's symptoms of mental illnesses worsened into severe paranoia and bipolar disorder, and it led to a tragic event that left her unable to take care of me anymore. Combined with the lack of funds that my dad could provide, it felt like I was left without a family that could take care of me anymore. I felt hopeless, and I felt like at such a young age, I simply couldn't see myself living anymore.
It's 'cause your parents,
until
you have to
I called
rely
my
on
aunt
them.
and uncle for help and guidance. And they were kind enough to take care of me as my guardians and let me join their family
That's awesome.
with my 2 cousins. As of now, I'm 17 years old, in my final year of high school. It's been difficult to adapt to my new and more wealthy way of living, and it's painful to remember that my mom and dad are still struggling to this day. But doing well at school and prioritizing my studies while thinking of what happened in the past gives me drive to work as hard as I can.
That's
so that one
awesome.
day I could maybe provide for my parents as they did for me.
Aw, dang, that's pretty sad. That's Cassie, you're doing great, okay? I don't even know how old this is. This is this year. Cassie, you're doing so good, okay? I can relate to this on such a level that you guys don't even know. My parents weren't, they couldn't take care of me either. My dad, I don't even remember my dad and my mom being married, but they were. You know, it was when I was a baby, they got divorced, basically. And, you know, they got on drugs, and they started drinking, and, I lived with my mom. Me and my sister lived with my mom, and my dad hardly ever came around. You know, he seemed like he had a lot of sense to him, and you know, I loved my dad, but in reality, he didn't. He really didn't have a lot of sense to him, okay? Because he was literally wasting his life sitting around and not really doing anything that he wanted to do. And, you know, I didn't get to see him very much. It affected me a lot. I went through a big phase. I went through a lot of time just wondering why it had to be the way that it was. And then my mom was also on drugs, but, you know, she didn't really have any money. We lived in a really, really small house. It had a big yard though, so hey, it had a really big yard. We had a trampoline that we found in an alley. I'm not even joking. We literally found a trampoline in an alley with all the springs and everything. Can you believe it? Like seriously, there was nothing wrong with the trampoline. Absolutely amazing find, by the way. But I can relate to it because my parents, you know, they couldn't take care of me either. But thank God my sister had enough sense to get her crap together, and she became my guardian. My sister became my guardian, and I lived with her, and I thank her so much for it. I mean, if you guys want to know more about that, I have it in my Draw My Life. But sometimes the parents don't have it all together, and you know, it's not like they woke up and decided that they wanted to make that choice, but things happen over time. And I think it's so awesome, Cassie, how you still love your parents anyway. You know, I don't hold resentment towards my parents, even though they obviously could have done things so much better. Like, I could list things on and on. But, you know, my dad, he passed away now, and I don't hold resentment towards him. You know, I'm glad I don't, because I don't want to live my life thinking that, like, you know, replaying things in my head that really make no sense, and it'll just waste my time to do that. I don't do that. And I just think it's amazing that you're not doing that either. You just know that things happen, and it's unfortunate. It's really unfortunate. But you seem like you're very independent, and I think you should really keep that up, you know? Sometimes the only person you got in your life is you, and you can do amazing things if you put your mind to it. And I know there's a lot of people watching this right now with maybe bad parent situations in their life as well, and just keep on going, okay? Do your best. Thank God for the family members that are here to help us, and the friends and family. You know, it's amazing. And here I am complaining about Fortnite not working. Today's scrub of the day goes to Broken Doll. Is it bad that I have an actual fear of the color green? Maybe if you're subscribed, we might have an issue here since my hair's been green for quite a while. At the least, I hope I can help you get over your fears. Congratulations, Broken Doll. If you want to be scrubbed today, leave that support down below. You know, keep on commenting, guys. Keep on clicking the bell. Keep on clicking it. Not if you clicked it already, you know, but click it if you haven't, and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on uploads. I really enjoy Storybooth, and I think it's an amazing channel, and you guys really need to check it out and subscribe if you haven't already, okay? Link down below, and I'll also link in the cards. I'll link it at the end. Thank you so much, Storybooth, for letting me react to these stories, and I can't believe I cried. I really did. It really got me. Like that was real. That was real, I promise. Let me know if you'd like to see more videos like this, and I'll see you scrubs in the next one. Take care and keep hanging on. All right, guys. Bye-bye.